Now it's time to break it.
Welcome to the Split Screeners Podcast. This is going to be our Video Game Awards retrospective. For those of you that love video games, you know that the Video Game Awards have happened recently, and it was the 10-year anniversary. That's
a big
crazy.
year.
We have watched it almost every year. We went to the theater in Salt Lake to watch it a couple times. We love this event every year. Usually we take bets on... We'll print out sheets. We'll take bets on who's going to win each category. This year, Aaron
We'll do
did
that
win.
next year for sure.
Yeah,
on
for
the
sure.
channel.
I almost last minute printed out some stuff, but I completely forgot to do that work.
I almost did too.
For this episode, though, what we want to do is we want to go back the past 10 years. We want to look at just the game of the year. Obviously, we could go into a lot of different categories, but we're going to focus mainly on the big one, the one that everybody cares about, game of the year. Look at the who won, look at the nomination, see if we agree with who won, looking back. And then we've come up with like a snub from each year that we feel like should have at least been nominated. Yeah. It doesn't have to have won, but should have definitely been on the nomination list.
So, and then there's some years where we definitely agree with the winner.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
Yeah, that's going to definitely come up. And I don't think that this has to be like voting. I think that everybody can just voice their opinion on who they think they should have won. And so we'll hop right into it. 2014 was the first year of the Game Awards. There were 5 games nominated. I think that's going to be the same almost every year. Dragon Age Inquisition was the winner, but also nominated Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, Hearthstone, and Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor.
I love Shadow of Mordor.
Same.
One of the few games I've actually 100%ed. Fantastic game.
I'll be completely honest, and everybody at this table knows I don't play as many games like this as you guys do. So I don't feel like that I am the right person to be throwing a name out there. I did play a little bit of Middle-earth. I did like Shadow of Mordor, but didn't play it enough, I think, to nominate it.
Yeah. I played a bit of it. It is a good game, but not really my cup of tea for the genre. This one also had the unfortunate timing of coming out just a few months before The Witcher 3 came out. And that game totally blew everything this game did out of the water. So it was a short gap of enjoying it to going, oh, here's a much better game.
See,
so I do not think it's...
I think they're fundamentally different games like that. Mostly just... I just don't consider them...
Yeah. So out of what was nominated, I probably would have given it to Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor as the overall better game experience.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I've played through this game like 2 or 3 times, and I love it. But I'm also a Lord of the Rings nerd, so...
The snub that we have come up with, and what would have been my choice, because it was one of the ones that I played all the way through, South Park and The Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
Great game.
Very fun.
Fantastic.
Very fun.
If you're a South Park fan, it is the best video game based on
Now, I'm
the
just going to
series.
throw this note out there.
Come on. Throwing pea-covered snowballs at turkeys there.
In 64.
I'm just going to throw this out there. We're not really heavy gamers. There's going to be a lot of games that we didn't play that year. I mean, a lot of us
I played
every game
all
on this
of
list
these
twice.
games this year.
I was like, Gavin is definitely our big video game player. He plays through a lot.
And
He plays everything.
And I don't think
Good or
Dragon
bad.
Age Inquisition should have won fucking anything. Shouldn't have been nominated.
Okay. There you go.
And that's the bottom line.
2015, we had the winner, Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. But some of the other nominees, Bloodborne, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, and Super Mario Maker. Gavin, we'll start with you again. We'll just keep this order going.
Yeah, I really like The Witcher 3. It was a great game. I think it really deserved that. Something that, for one of the ones that got nominated, I'd have to say probably my favorite of all those would have been Bloodborne. Now, that said, if I had to go for a snub that we didn't really discuss too much, I would have to say Yakuza 0.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one's definitely not on my list. So, for me, I have watched a lot of Witcher 3. I've watched Aaron play Witcher 3 quite a bit. I've watched a lot of videos online of The Witcher 3. It does look like a really fun game, something that I could get into For me, though, if I have to go with something that I played, Super Mario Maker, I just think it was so new and fresh and such a cool idea for the Mario franchise. And I had a ton of fun making maps and playing through creative maps.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
But I understand why Witcher 3 won.
For me, 2015 Game of the Year, they absolutely called it. The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. Phenomenal game. Absolutely blew everything else out of the water. Had that not come out this year, I think I would have gravitated towards Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. That was probably my next favorite game release that year. Zach?
Like you said, Witcher 3 was the right choice this year. I came to this game late, probably like the year after or maybe 2 years after, but once I played through it, it's one of my top favorite games of all time now. And had that not won, I probably would have gone with more than an unlikely choice, but Fallout 4. I know there's a lot of issues with the story not being as good as previous ones, but I like the changes they made to the gameplay and the changes to the power armor and how you put that on. Felt very right and natural. So,
Did you skip Metal Gear Solid 5?
I've only played, I think 4 was the one that came with the PS3.
Oh, yeah, you should play 5. It's much better.
So, as far as snubs go, and what would have won, I think, in my opinion, if I was the only person voting, was Dying Light. That was the snub that we chose. I can't believe it didn't even get nominated. That game was
I agree. I love Dying Light.
It should have gotten a nomination.
The only reason I say Yakuza 0 over that for myself is just I put hundreds of hours in
Yeah,
Yakuza.
had that been
It's
nominated,
phenomenal.
It wouldn't have come close to Witcher 3, but Phantom Pain might have given it a run for its money. But great game.
2016, we had the winner, which was Overwatch, followed by Doom, Inside, Titanfall 2, and Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
All right.
Gavin?
Sorry, I pulled it up here so I can also have understand.
No, you're good.
where we were. Oh yes, this one. I did agree with Overwatch. The year Overwatch came out, I was talking mad shit almost the entirety when it was like leading up to Overwatch. The release date, and then one of my friends messaged me was like, "Hey, you should try this game out." And then I tried it, found out it was fantastic, and told them all to get it as well. And I
You
think
got
it
it for
really
me as a birthday present.
I did. It was 100% fantastic, just group game to play.
Put
with
hours
everybody.
into it all
This
together.
this might be one that's across the board. I think most of us are going to agree on. Just based solely on the time spent playing Overwatch, this is one of the best multiplayer games that has come out in a long time. They have since ruined a lot of aspects to it, and it is not as much fun. Overwatch 2,
But in 2016,
massive downgrade. But Overwatch, the first one when it first came out, was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this game broke my early Fortnite addiction. It completely replaced it for a good while.
I still wasn't playing Fortnite at this point.
But yeah, I would agree. Overwatch won Game of the Year. Had it not come out, though, I do really love Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 4 was nice because like I felt like 2 and 3 were a step down from where 1 was, and 4 like completely reinvigorated my love for that whole series. And it actually made me like 2 and 3 more weirdly. So I do agree. I think Uncharted 4 was great, but
A lot of fun. But yeah, Overwatch 1, if I just go by hour count alone.
Doom is a fantastic game too.
Doom is a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
how did Titanfall 2 get nominated? Can you talk about that?
Titanfall 2, actually, the story on Titanfall 2 is
Okay, I didn't play
really,
through the
really
story.
good. They
I didn't
actually
play
added a
enough
full
of it,
story
yeah.
into the second one. It was really, really good, actually.
Titanfall 2, I just
I like the
remember
first
seeing
one,
from what I
but
talked.
I remember not liking Titanfall 2, and I didn't play it for very long.
Zach?
And Inside's great.
I'm not the biggest multiplayer fan, especially back then. So me agreeing with Overwatch winning probably was not what I was thinking at that point. So I would have gone with Uncharted 4, which coincidentally was the first Uncharted game I played.
Gasp.
I
Good
know,
choice for our
right?
first one, though.
I know.
Yeah.
Um,
can't go
Second
wrong.
best one in the series.
Yeah, it kind of like got me into the franchise, and I think I played 3 afterwards, and kind of was starting to work my way
4,
down.
3,
but-
2, 1.
Just play backwards.
It's a good way.
For a snub, I think that we all agreed Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Very fun reinvigoration of a really great game series back in the early 2000s.
I've always loved the Ratchet and Clank games, and
Yeah, they're a lot of
having
fun.
them that reboot was really good for the series, as well as very well made.
I don't think it wins over Overwatch, in my opinion,
No,
but
no.
definitely should have been
It
nominated,
should
I
have
think.
gotten a little love.
I do think Super Hot should have got a nod as well. Just the gameplay mechanics themselves.
Very fun.
Especially in
VR.
VR.
A
Super
very
Hot
fun
in VR
gameplay.
was amazing.
One of the first games I ever bought for my VR, and it was worth every penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
2017, the winner was Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. But runners-up, we had Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and Super Mario Odyssey. Gavin, we'll start.
Breath of the Wild, great game. I understand why it won. I, for the most part, agree with it. I personally thought Odyssey was better, but that was just me. They were all Persona 5 was my game of the year for myself, but it was a good year for games.
Yeah,
honestly,
Yeah,
It was a great year.
looking back at
Had
this,
a couple good years.
2017 might be one of the best because I like almost everything that was nominated. Breath of the Wild is incredible. I remember spending maybe my first 10 to 15 hours in this game literally just walking around because it was visually beautiful for Nintendo to come out with a game like this. For me personally, Horizon Zero Dawn is my winner for this year. Love the storyline of this game, love the mechanics, love the scenery. It's very beautiful, but I'm not mad about Breath of the Wild winning at all. This is as close as a race has gotten for Game Awards for me, and I'm not mad either way.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild winning. I'm kind of with Gavin. Odyssey is really good too. Both neck and neck for Game of the Year for me. I think I will give the nod to Breath of the Wild like they did, simply because that did more to change up the gameplay and style of classic Zelda.
it was a more
Mario
unique
Odyssey
game.
was in like Mario 64 enhanced. Didn't change enough, but a beautiful, gorgeous, fun game, both of them. But I'd give the nod to Zelda.
I sat down and beat Odyssey in like a day. I did not sit down in a day and beat Breath of the Wild. Not because it was bad, it's just
No. I put
it wasn't as
a lot of hours into both, and it was good because one came out at the beginning of the year, the other at the tail end. Powerhouse of Nintendo to have a year like that with those titles. But I'd agree with what they chose.
I honestly would have gone with Horizon Zero Dawn. The story was phenomenal.
Yes.
I loved getting every little chunk of lore you got through the game, learning more about how humanity fell and everything was it just kept me going. Plus the gameplay was fun. It was exciting going up against mech dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And
It was just awesome, start to finish. I loved that game.
Climbing the giant neck.
Had
robot
Nintendo
dinosaurs.
not been on such a streak that year with the Switch launch, then that would have been my pick because I loved the first one.
plus
it-
protagonist.
Yeah.
I personally think that it probably, unfortunately, lost out to Persona 5 because it was just.
I mean, Persona's Persona.
Persona's
Great
Persona.
series.
Like yeah.
The snub that we came up with after looking at some lists, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of fun for a small team game.
Beautiful game.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thought of.
Beautiful game.
It's a beautiful game.
Huge game.
It's one of the best games.
But a little smaller scale. I don't see it winning Game of the Year with what a great year we had in games.
But we could have
it's a huge
swapped
addition.
it for Battlegrounds, I think.
Yeah, Battlegrounds is my least favorite there.
If it had won, we would all be mad.
I don't know how.
Grab your
Battlegrounds is
torches
on
and
there anyway, because it
pitchforks.
came out before Fortnite. Must have come out of early access.
2018. This is another
good year.
phenomenal year. We have the winner, God of War, some great nominees: Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, Marvel Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Two stacked
great
years.
It was a fantastic year. God of War definitely deserved that. I think hilariously that Red Dead Redemption got a little snubbed by just because it came out the same year as God of War.
That's tough.
It was. I thought for sure when I found out Red Dead Redemption was coming out that year that was just going to be it.
A lot of people did.
And it really put
It's a
up
hard year.
the work for it. But yeah, Spider-Man was phenomenal.
I mean, all of those are at least the ones we're talking about right now. Red Dead, God of War, Spider-Man,
Celeste.
Monster Hunter, Celeste.
I love.
All of those are game of the year.
I played Monster Hunter World the most. Last I checked, I was at like 500 hours.
Mhm.
And they're still putting updates onto it, which is crazy to me.
They have good support.
I played that for a little while.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Look, what's more fun than swinging around a giant sword at giant monsters? That's just fun.
Swinging through New York, realistic New York, fighting crime.
That's a good segue because game of the year this year should have been Marvel Spider-Man. I understand.
Mhm.
I understand that people love God of War. I get it. Great. I love the reinvigoration of the storyline that they did with these new games. Kratos is still Kratos. Total badass.
Yeah.
Marvel Spider-Man is one of the most fun games I have ever played in my entire life. It was the first game I've ever platinumed in my entire life because like even after I beat the game, I was like, yeah, I'll go swing around New York and take pictures for 5 hours a night until I beat this game.
Yeah.
I love this game. I understand why God of War won. I'm not hating on God of War at all. Great game. But yeah, Spider-Man far and away for me.
Didn't all of us at this table platinum that game?
Yeah.
I managed to get it first because I took off.
Kevin was very first.
I took a day off of work and I played for like almost 48 hours straight to get that platinum that fast. And it was the most enjoyable sleep deprivation I've ever had.
You also got the Marvel Spider-Man special edition PlayStation.
I did. I still technically have it. It does not run as well as it used to.
That was a PlayStation 4 Pro, right?
Yeah, it was a PS4 Pro. I saved up. I saved up for that just because I was really excited about the game, and it was a really beautiful PlayStation. The controller did not hold up, not at all.
This was another really tough call year for me. Similar to the year prior, though, between Odyssey and Zelda, I give the nod to God of War like they did simply because it totally rebooted and changed everything about God of War as far as gameplay, how they tell the story. And it was a really fun story. Kratos is just awesome. His son, a little whiny at times, but it was still a good addition.
But it was also like a different story from like the first three games.
Oh yeah,
like
there's
obviously
a
like
big
the
time jump.
like obviously that, but I mean like the fundamental, because the first three games fundamentally is a revenge story.
Yeah.
This one is like a family, about family more so than anything.
Family.
Than Diesel.
Yeah. So they changed a lot. I really enjoyed it, but Spider-Man, so fun. They nailed the mechanics so well in that one. Just swinging around the city was such a joy. But again, not very different from like Spider-Man 2 back in the day, but the mechanics so much better.
You could deliver pizza
Definitely.
in Spider-Man too.
Definitely a game of the year worthy. I go back and forth on which I like more, but for different reasons.
Nintendo the year before dominated.
Yeah.
Sony this year dominated.
Yes. Completely.
So you guys already said most of it, but what you're going to notice more the more we talk about video games is I tend to stick around like the story burdened ones. God of War did a really good job with their story, but
They did.
I really felt all the emotion through Marvel Spider-Man. That ending,
You were crying.
I was crying.
You were crying.
Hit me a lot harder than God of
Yeah.
War did, so I would have to
I
go with
totally see
Spider-Man on this one as well.
Can't go wrong either choice. Those
No.
are both
Stellar games.
two of the best games ever.
This was a harder year to find a snub. I think that the right games
Yes.
got
They
nominated.
did.
Again, this might be more looking back because I don't know if when Fortnite was first released, if it deserved to win Game of the Year or even be nominated for Game of the Year. But now, after we've played it for 6 years, I can be like, yeah, Fortnite's a
years.
fantastic game. Love Fortnite. Should have won Game of the Year, but
Yeah.
I think the
our
right games
account
got
alone.
nominated.
At this point, I'll note it didn't take Star Wars. It didn't take Marvel. It didn't take a lot of the cool events that happened. I don't even remember what actually brought me into it finally, but Godzilla's coming, and I'm so excited. I'm so happy that I'm in this game
It
now.
did take you a while, and I need to get back into it, but
Bring
It's
Lord of
another
the Rings
story.
next.
2019, we start falling off a little bit. I don't think that it's as close of a race. We do have Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Control, that is the one that ended up winning. Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and The Outer Worlds.
All right. So first things first, I love Sekiro. It's one of my favorite games, and I've played the hell out of it. I've beaten it multiple times. I don't have the platinum only because didn't get all of the skill points. There's an item that lets you burn away your skill points, and I didn't realize I was missing a skill tome. So I was confused why I wasn't getting the trophy, and I wasted too many. And now where I'm at, because of how many times I played it, it takes an entire game playthrough to get one level.
Oh.
I need 12.
That's a pain in the ass.
So I need to restart it and actually get it. But I was... This whole year, I thought it was really good because the control was a lot of fun. I actually didn't touch Death Stranding that much. I found that boring. But Smash Bros. Ultimate, Outer Worlds, Resident Evil 2, and Control were all really good games, but did not stand up to Sekiro at all, in my opinion.
Again, you're not going to get a whole lot of argument from me because I definitely understand why it won. I will say for me personally, it's not my style of game. This one's a really close race for me between Death Stranding and Super Smash Bros. I actually, I probably put 80 hours into Death Stranding. I loved Death Stranding. Still, even with 80 hours, I don't even know if I was halfway through with beating the game, which has drove me to play more and more of it. I love this game. Probably my game of the year choice. But I'm not going to argue that Sekiro won.
Yeah.
I was so pumped that year.
Yeah, I get why Sekiro won. It's probably my second favorite From Software game after Bloodborne, but I'm not a big From Software fan, so take it. But I definitely get why it won. It is a great game, a lot of fans. Death Stranding, I really loved. I think at the time that was my game of the year when we were watching this Game Awards.
I remember because you were all of you were really upset that Sekiro won. Yeah. It's just me going, yeah.
I'd probably still give it to Death Stranding. I really liked Resident Evil 2 Remake, though. That was very well done, but it is just almost a 1-to-1 remake with a few things, so I hesitate to give it a Game of the Year on that.
Sick,
but it was really well done. But I'd probably go Death Stranding as my preferred game for a nomination.
Here comes the first showdown. Gavin, Sekiro did not deserve to win. It should have been Control.
No, God, no.
Control is such a fun game.
No, the world Ghostbusters fanfic did not deserve to win.
I was with you, Zach, until you said Control.
Control. The world that they crafted for that game was so fun to be in. The different powers you got. It felt like being like an X-Men in kind of a Ghostbusters type world. But I love how they also connected to that Alan Wake and they're in the same universe. Give me Control 2. Now.
All I can really say about Control is every time it just made me think.
I didn't even beat Control.
I almost platinum it.
Yeah.
I beat it, but I didn't.
I did get bored playing it. It was really cool at first for a few hours.
Yeah.
And then I just got bored and didn't pick it back up.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the ghost guns.
Yeah.
That's what they were. They were guns that were ghosts and shot ghosts.
Sentient guns. I loved them.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff.
I thought it was very unique. I just don't.
But
it was kind of like a horror shooter.
Yeah. I would say yeah. I would say it's more actiony than Resident Evil.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Village.
Two from the same year.
From the same year. Like,
I didn't play 2.
Like 2's more Resident Evil 2's more horror and Control's more action. Like that's kind of like I agree. There is like a horror aspect, but like at a certain point you don't get scared because you have a ghost shotgun.
Yeah. The horror feeling and the dread
every once in a while
definitely diminishes after.
And then having
which I don't mind. I get scared easy.
Yeah, and I mean
I like being able to fight back.
Its first genre is not horror, so
and then like walking into one of those rooms where you have like 100 like floating enemies up above you, but they only randomly drop, and they're
gives you a little dread, a little anticipation.
I loved it.
For a snub this year, I think we all kind of decided on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes.
That gave me so much shit.
It was better than Sekiro, so
was super fun for a Star Wars game. We hadn't Force Unleashed was probably the last time I had that much fun.
Yeah,
playing a
I'd
Star Wars
agree.
game.
It was definitely the most fun I'd had in a while. Definitely had some issues with it overall, but it was a great package. It was a lot of fun.
It really makes me laugh that you guys enjoyed it. Mostly because it is very Dark Souls-esque, and you guys not like Dark Souls.
I don't have a problem.
I know, but like
with that type of game. They
You
just
know
don't
what they did
capture
right?
me.
You know what they did
Yeah.
right? They took the Dark Souls off of it and slapped Star Wars on
They
it.
put lightsabers in our hands.
Yeah, that is
There's lightsabers and darks.
when it's over.
And the Force.
You also have many Force spells, and
No, they're not the Force.
They're not labeled the Force, so
they are labeled Force. Force.
That's copyright infringement.
That is copyright.
Sorry, any Dark Souls fans, I haven't played the game.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
2020, the winner was The Last of Us Part 2. Some other nominees: Animal Crossing's New Horizons, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Hades.
All right, and here's the next big argument. I hated Last of Us Part 2.
Ooh.
I thought it was one of the most boring, generic pieces of shit I've ever watched or ever played in my entire life. It pissed me off. I didn't have that much fun with it. That said, I thought the gameplay mechanics and how it looked were phenomenal, but I did not like the story. I guessed.
Gavin is just a guest speaker today. He will not be returning on this podcast.
If you can find my old stream VOD from when I streamed playing it, I called out the entire fucking story in the first hour, which is bad. That usually
Just
takes
give
me away.
yourself over to the narrative and stop trying to guess what's going to happen.
Yeah, I could do that with
If
any game.
My issue was I was just making jokes. Like I was just being like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. Oh, I'm joking around, and then it would happen, and then I'd be like, oh God, why? And it was just really pissing
I can
me
now
off.
see
just
why you separated
subconsciously
me and Gavin.
did that after reading all the spoilers the month before. They were on every Twitter
The true
feed.
winner that should have won is Ghost of Tsushima.
Great game.
You're going down.
God, I'm gonna high five you for the first part of that conversation. I did not beat Last of Us Part 2 because after how amazing Last of Us Part 1 was, I found this incredibly boring and bland. Did not think that this game deserved to win Game of the Year. Still have not beat it to this day because I just don't find the enjoyment that I found in the first part. That being said, outside of that, didn't play a ton of these games. Did have some fun with Animal Crossing. Very cute.
Fun game.
Very thoughtful.
Game of the Year for me, probably Hades. I've only played a little bit of this, but I've watched all of it. Super fun, super cool world. Like Hades a lot. Again, if you watched our introduction video that probably came out a couple days ago, Last of Us, I said was my favorite game of all time.
Accidentally.
Accidentally.
I did mean to say Uncharted. I will throw that out there. But Last of Us is up there. Last of Us is in my top 3. Love that game. Part 2, I was very disappointed by. Don't think it should. That being said, love Naughty Dog. Great.
All right. So 2020. The Last of Us, PS3. Best game to release on the PS3. Possibly one of the best games of all time. How do you follow that up and not have some disappointment?
Mm-hmm.
Last of Us 2, not as good as the first. Little disappointing. Still an amazing game that got a lot of undeserved hate. I think you need to go and play it again now that you've had some time.
I may have to. And I will. At some point down the road, because I know that my wife wants to watch me play through the game. I will have to play through it again. But
I will play through it with you.
Yeah, I would also.
That would be my
play it
third,
again.
fourth time.
I won't lie. I won't say like the whole thing bored me. There's a couple moments in it that I really did enjoy, but
It's not without problems,
Oh,
but
God.
few games are. But overall, it's still one of the best games of this console generation at this time. Runner-up for me, Ghost of Tsushima was real close to being my game of the year. God, I love Ghost of Tsushima.
Everyone,
so beautiful.
Yeah.
everyone poo-poos on Sekiro, then basically picks a game
No,
that functions.
Ghost
very
of
similar.
Tsushima did the whole
Superior.
samurai thing much better. They did it right.
Sekiro was not a samurai game. It
Oh,
was a ninja
sorry.
game.
I apologize. I'll just say they did that better too.
Gavin, did Sekiro make you cry when the horse died?
Yes.
No,
No, it didn't. Don't lie to us.
the horse didn't die. It was
Many
already
horses
dead.
die.
He cried every time.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
Did you kill him?
Fantastic.
Only
Can't
one of
wait
them.
for the sequel.
I am General Young.
All right, I got 4 things to say. Gavin, shut your mouth.
Valid.
Last of Us Part 2, I highly enjoyed. Not as good as the first one,
No.
but
Doesn't mean it
beautifully
wasn't
done. I loved the gameplay. I've played it multiple times all the way through. 3. Gavin, shut down. I do agree. Number 4. I do agree that Ghost of Tsushima. That was the winner, right?
No.
No, Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us 2 won.
I do agree with these guys that Ghost of Tsushima should have won. Phenomenal game. Just the fact you could play in like different visual modes to make it feel more like an older Japanese samurai film. Play in fully Japanese dub.
Yeah, I felt like I was in a Kurosawa film the whole time.
I've said it before. These really like well done stories are what makes my favorite games, and this is one of them. I did cry proudly at the end of the first act. I love
You
that
were
horse.
crying.
What was
I'm throwing
did we-
shade at you crying. I'm just throwing shade at you saying you like story-based games and pick Last of Us Part 2.
I do like it. And
That's
I
a
don't agree with
story-based
the
game.
people who hated it just because somebody was gay and somebody.
Yeah, it's a trendy thing.
That's
to take
that's
on this
not
game.
why I disliked it.
I'm not saying that's why
It
you
was
didn't
boring
like it.
and
That's,
predictable.
But a lot of people
But
do
a
like
lot
it
of
for that
people-
reason.
Gavin, I'm not saying you didn't like it for that reason.
Oh, okay.
We know why you didn't like it. You have terrible taste.
Yeah.
Snub of the year this year, we decided on Spider-Man Miles Morales. I get it. Spider-Man got nominated. Spider-Man 2 got nominated. Miles Morales, smaller story,
Yeah.
shorter sample size,
So,
super fun.
Great story.
Yeah, and really cool because you like got sucked into this world of Spider-Man, and you got to see all the cool Spider-Man powers, and then to take all of that and flip it on its head and give you Miles Morales, who has all these extra cool powers, was super fun.
And learning how to use them mostly on his own because Spider-Man's on vacation.
Because
Great game, though.
I never played Ghost of Tsushima, that would probably be my winner. Miles Morales, actually.
For game of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
2021, the winner was It Takes Two, Deathloop, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village were the runners-up.
All right. I really liked It Takes Two. I thought it was a really, really fun game with a really well-written story. And I thought it was a lot of fun to play with other people. I really enjoyed Deathloop this year. However, as much as I wanted it to win, I knew it wasn't going to. There's a lot of issues with Deathloop, but it was my favorite game of the year. But only because I like roguelikes. And you will get me almost every time with a roguelike. And Deathloop is a first-person shooter roguelike. It's fun.
That was a good game. This one's going to be quick and easy for me. Game of the year this year was It Takes Two. It was cute. The worlds were amazing. I love the forced couch co-op aspect of it. We've talked about that a lot outside of this podcast. Couch co-op needs to make a massive comeback in the gaming industry. Something that we would all love to see because that's some of the best gaming memories that any of us have is playing couch co-op with your friends. And this forced you to do it, and it was awesome.
I'm going to agree. It Takes Two, phenomenal game. Couch co-op, love it. I did not play Psychonauts 2. I had a lot of fun with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I liked Resident Evil Village, not as much as 7. But yeah, definitely out of these, It Takes Two should have been the winner.
I have 4 things to say.
Gavin?
I am in agreement.
Nice.
Though
Stop, you're done.
Resident Evil Village was my first Resident Evil game, and I really liked it, and I kind of wanted to win this time around, but It Takes Two is a great choice for winner this year.
I would not have been upset with Village, but and I get it because it was your first one. Coming off of Resident Evil 7 and going into Village
I really want to play.
was disappointing. Like, Village was fun. I had a great time. But at the same time, when I look at 7 and I look at Village, there's a clear difference between them. And 7 was so much better. And didn't even get nominated, which is crazy.
I know.
Snub of the year this year, Hitman 3. Don't really know if it's a snub, per se.
It's just fun.
I don't know what
wasn't nominated.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have taken out for it. Psychonauts do probably.
I mean, it's got its fans.
Yeah.
It's very popular. I didn't play
The
it. So I can't judge it.
suitcase.
2022. This is where we're gonna have some disagreements. The winner was Elden Ring, Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, Xenoblade Chronicles were our runners up.
All right. Happy Elden Ring 1. I love FromSoft games. They're solid games. I've never beaten it. That said, there's so much optional things you can do, especially with the entirety of the. So there's an overworld map, and then there's an entirety underground cavern map that's parallel.
Mhm.
That has its own ecosystem and entirely different and puzzles and stuff to figure out, and it's just a lot to get lost in. And I enjoy it a lot. And I think it deserved to win. But the next runner-up would have been God of War Ragnarok, because it was also very good.
I got one thing to say before we start. Before I start talking. Stray, beautiful, fun, cute. Does not deserve to be nominated for Game of the Year. That's
I agree.
crazy that it's even on the list.
It's because we're starting to get into
Rough
tougher
patches.
times in gaming, and there weren't as many great releases. Great game, but yeah, definitely not deserving to be nominated.
That being said, I argued against God of War the last time. I will argue for God of War this time. Ragnarok should have won this year. Elden Ring is a dumpster fire of a game. From Software is terrible.
He's coming out.
That's
like
going to
this.
lose us subscribers.
And this is coming from somebody that actually did beat the game, unlike
Yeah.
our proponent
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
You beat it too.
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah.
Great game.
Elden Ring winning. I also beat this game. I'm in a controversial opinion here. Elden Ring is the most overrated From Software game they've released.
Okay.
Just gonna say it. Not as good as Bloodborne or Sekiro. Oh, yeah. So it definitely should not have won. It's trash.
Aaron thinks Xenoblade Chronicles 3 should have won.
You know, I'm gonna have to say
It's a fun game. I mean,
I'm gonna go God of War Ragnarok. Not as good as the first of the reboot, but it's still a solid game. Continues the story. I'm interested to see where they're gonna take it next with the one they're working on. And Horizon Forbidden West, of course. But yeah, get Elden Ring off it. Beat the game, Gavin. You won't like it as much.
I'm gonna surprise you guys all.
Okay.
4 words.
Elden Ring does look like a beautiful game. It does look fun.
For sure.
I have really wanted to play it. I've joked about beating 14 billion times because Gavin hasn't beat it yet.
it's one of the most.
I have not.
It's one of the most accessible FromSoft games.
Yeah, I like accessibility because I'm not
It's easy mode.
a very
from
skilled
software.
gamer, so those kind of
Go
games,
Snow 3.
those kind of games
It's
kind
always
of
an easy way.
push me away a little bit. But God of War Ragnarok should have won this. I think I do like the story a little bit better in this one versus 2014,
2018.
18, somewhere on this.
Yeah.
It's
the previous one. That one should have won.
Yeah, I don't think anybody up here is going to sit here and say that From Software doesn't make beautiful games. Their games are beautiful.
Oh yeah, their design is.
They
phenomenal.
make very awesome fighting sequences. I think that From Software does a lot of really great things. They're just not for me. So I'm not talking shit to people who love From Software.
No.
Enjoy what you want.
Yeah, a lot of fans.
I have died a lot in From Software games, and they're just not for me. I'm not into that kind of challenge.
Definitely a rinse
Plus,
and repeat loop.
I'm a
Elden
challenge
Ring-
gamer.
I like challenge, but there's a certain point of challenge where like From Software almost feels like it's just repetitive. Like I'm just
And not
trying to
fun anymore
learn a
sometimes.
sequence
you're just
to beat
memorizing
things, and I
sequences.
don't love
Yeah,
Plus, I mean, Elden Ring
it
did
gets
get
boring for me.
George R. Martin to help with the lore and stuff, which is
Yeah, for what it was, and there's no big story-driven component, which I feel is lacking. Like
In what, Elden Ring or?
in most of From Software's game, not all of them, but a lot of it's just background lore, which for a lot of people they like doing. And I like that as an addition, but I would like a more cinematic,
Oh no, I totally.
story-driven
I agree that
component. To
Dark Souls
a game
1
like
and
that.
Dark Souls 1 and 2 and Bloodborne are all pretty
Mhm.
big on those. I would say Dark Souls 3, they went more cinematic.
Yeah.
Sekiro is one of their most is by far the most like single player driven story.
Sekiro is my favorite in that regard.
And Elden Ring is really nice because they do the big cinematics. They explain it all for them. They do the big cinematics and they show up and they explain what's going on. It's not all hidden behind. Like there is that
not as much
secret
as
lore
because
there's puzzles, there's extra puzzles in the in the world that you can do if you pay attention to secret lore for like bonus boss fights and stuff like that. But
I just don't have the time for that anymore.
For our snub, and it is a snub, Power Wash Simulator.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Beautiful
I
game.
forgot we picked that one.
Very cool.
Great game.
Like behind the scenes kind of storyline going on with this volcano in this town. You clean up all shit. Really fun. Sunk a lot of hours.
I watched
very
them-
calming.
I
It's a very
watched them
therapeutic
play
game.
that game for several hours.
Okay.
So
I think this next year, in my opinion, is the most difficult year. I think that every game that got nominated is great.
Well, you're
But they're 2023, but there is a massive snub on this list that deserved to be here, that should have won the whole thing. The winner, Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Other nominees, Alan Wake 2, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
all right.
Out
Get
of
it out of the
these,
way.
what should have won?
out of these,
At least Baldur's Gate 3 deserved the win, and they knocked it out of the park. No one even get close to Baldur's Gate 3. It was probably one of the most polished games we've had in the past like 5-6 years. Very little issues at launch. Tons of content, tons of endings, tons of side content, tons of story, tons of cinematic.
tons of love making.
If you love Dungeons and Dragons, you have tons of that. If you want the weird kinky stuff, you can romance a druid who bangs you as a bear.
I barely knew that.
You can sleep with a mind flayer. You can sleep with you can get pegged by a drow. You can games, and these are only a couple of the options here. All right. On top of that, these people that are doing these things have their own fleshed out, like in-world story, separate from the main storyline. It's all connected, but all separate. And I just love the fucking game. Worth it. It's the only thing that should have won.
Super rapid breakdown. Again, I think this year is so good. I think that we look back and we say that since COVID, we've had a lot of rough years with gaming. 2023, looking at this list, is
sort of picking back up.
amazing. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is one of my favorite Mario games, maybe ever. If not, it's definitely top 3 to top 5. Super fun. I haven't played all of it, but I played a ton with your son.
yeah, it's
Resident Evil 4, great game. Spider-Man 2, a little bit worse, I think, than the first one. Still a lot of fun. I like the switching off from between Miles and Peter.
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom, again, a little bit of a drop off, I think, from the first one. Still beautiful and a ton of fun. Alan Wake 2, super fun. Baldur's Gate 3 should have won. Gavin is completely right. This game is beautiful. The creations of characters are super fun, and then going into this world and just living out this fantasy lifestyle with these beautiful worlds. It's an amazing game. I can't wait to get more into it. I did not get it at launch because I was like, I don't think that's for me. Got it on a demo, played it for like 4 or 5 hours. I'm like, this game is fucking for me. I'm going to play the shit out of this
It's
game.
really funny. So,
Yeah.
Larry and the people, they made Divinity Original Sin 1 and
another
2.
great game.
I love those games too. And so I was really excited for this. I bought this when they announced like the like alpha
Yeah.
for like $20. Best $20 I've ever spent in my entire life.
Yeah. So yeah, 2023. Looking back at this, at the time I was pretty angry at the awards show for a huge snub. But this is a stacked list.
Yeah.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder, great Mario game. Resident Evil 4 remake, classic, great game remade. Spider-Man 2, I didn't like it as much as the first, but still one of my favorite games.
Being able to play as Venom was fun.
Yeah.
It had a lot.
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom, not different enough from
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Thank
Even
you.
with the building mechanics.
They added a lot of mechanics and stuff, but it's still reusing the old map, reusing the old assets, so it didn't really feel like a big jump as far as a sequel goes, but they're tied together. It's still a beautiful and fun game. definitely showing the age of the Switch a little more on this one. So Switch 2 will be nice. Alan Wake 2, beautiful sequel, long in the making, but Baldur's Gate 3 definitely should have won out of these.
Looking back now.
Because,
I remember
out of
all
what
of,
was nominated.
I remember you and I being pretty pissed off that Spider-Man didn't win from the things that were nominated. We'll get into the snub here in a minute. Because I got some real...
I hadn't played Baldur's Gate 3 at the time. Looked beautiful, looked all that, but I was like, it shouldn't win. But I was mad for other reasons.
Yeah.
But looking at what was nominated, clear winner.
Yeah.
Great game.
I will buy Baldur's Gate, all right?
It's good.
I really know.
It would
if
be
I
fun
had
to
a
all play.
physical list of games that I need to get and play, this would be at the top of them. Just watching all like the gameplay from like just on TikTok itself.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of all the people who've gotten to play it already. I really want to play it.
And continue.
I am going to go off of games that I did play though,
Yeah.
and I know we have the snub coming up. That's a big moment for me right there. Being able to play as Venom in this
That
capacity,
was fun.
in this high of a quality game, childhood dream of mine.
Oh yeah.
Should have won.
Yeah. I really am hoping for
Only
a
because I didn't play
Venom
Baldur's
spin-off,
Gate 3.
like they did for Miles Morales. I just want Spider-Man Venom.
I think they're working on that.
That's
It's
been
in the
rumored,
pipeline.
and I
They're working
really
on it.
hope that it pans out.
I think we're getting Wolverine first.
The real disappointing part is that they've come out with 3 really great Spider-Man games, and I think that's why I was really pushed for Spider-Man 2 to win this,
Mhm.
and none of them have won any awards, which
and
I
they should
think
win
is
something.
really disappointing.
They just keep coming out on years
Yeah.
with top tier games to go against.
Like-
It's hard.
So Spider-Man
how you
3 is
gonna-
going to come out the same time as GTA 6, and we're going to
Yeah.
snub it
Yeah.
right there.
It's like it's really hard to beat a game like Baldur's Gate 3 when Baldur's Gate 3 added 3 free entire DLCs in that first year.
Yeah.
Like just free updates of more content,
And
they're
just
still
the
doing
scope of that game
Yeah,
is
it's-
just so huge.
And Spider-Man 2 canceled their upcoming DLC. Like, we were supposed to be
Yeah.
Carnage at one point.
Yeah, we were supposed to get all this stuff, and then they canceled it. You can tell that we got it canceled because there's that whole Carnage like storyline in it, and then just
I will tell you, and we're
Cowards!
This is where we're going to really get into this. I do have a game that should have won over Baldur's Gate 3. Don't understand how it didn't.
I
get
also
nominated.
Not even
agree.
get nominated, yeah.
Didn't get a single
We
nomination.
talked about
We are not
childhood
going to
dreams.
get into the politics of it.
No.
That's not what we're doing here.
We're talking
We're
about the
going
game.
straight off of gameplay. And if you are in our age range, especially, I think, you've grown up with
Your back's
This-
starting to hurt.
incredible series of books that maybe some of you have heard of called Harry Potter, which then got turned into an incredible series of movies that,
Soon to be series as well.
yes,
Mhm.
that are beautiful. And then we finally got to experience Hogwarts as a student, not as Harry Potter, as your own created student.
Go to classes.
Go to classes, go off and explore the map, go to the Forbidden Forest, do all of this amazing stuff in this beautiful world. And because of people,
Controversial opinions.
it doesn't even get nominated. And to me, it is the biggest snub in the Game Awards history.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, we can take all the others away. They don't really matter. This one is a huge.
If you want to make the argument that Baldur's Gate beats Hogwarts, I won't even argue that. But for it to not even be nominated is insane.
For fans of Harry Potter, we've gotten experiences where we've been able to explore Hogwarts, but not to this level. Like,
Yeah.
Harry Potter 3, Prisoner of Azkaban, that game did a really good job of letting you fly around the castle and explore the castle.
that was a lot. I thought that was like one of the
It was
best.
Yeah.
It was one of the best, and it kind of made Harry Potter into a semi-shooter. But
It worked.
it worked.
Yeah, for the time.
But to this extent, this nostalgic,
Yeah.
all the like literal, you could read passages from the books describing the castle. It would be a 1-to-1 ratio recreation.
Yeah.
There is love in that game,
Yeah.
and it should have at least got nominated.
Yeah, stepping into that game and just seeing the grounds, the castle, all of these great locations, the artistic detail they put into this. I teared up just going through the hallways
I got
and
one
seeing
last thing.
everything. Yeah.
You should have put Quidditch in the game, you cowards.
Cowards! I also have one last thing. we talked about this earlier with Spider-Man. Games for me, especially storyline games, aren't replayable for me. Even if they have different endings that you can achieve, it's just not, most of the time it is not worth it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man, I continued playing. Obviously, I did New Game Plus.
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy, I played through 4 times. I beat that game 4 times. I went as every single Gryffindor, every single house. I was a member of every single house, had a different character for every single house. That is how beautiful and stunning this game was to me. Like, I can't think of another game I have ever fully replayed. I love Uncharted.
My biggest gripe with the game, though, is that they did not differentiate the
No,
houses
there's
past
one
the first mission.
I thought that for one mission, because I got so excited because I was hearing about how, like, oh, I had to go into the rookery. Where the hell did you guys have to go? You're like,
I'm like, oh my, I can't wait to play these extra playthroughs and see which house is how it's gonna be different. And there was nothing different. That's my biggest
We
complaint.
went to Azkaban. Oh yeah, was it cool? Don't really know. We didn't see a whole lot.
I walked down a hallway for 30 seconds and did a cutscene.
Yeah. So it has a flaw. It has its flaws, and we can admit that.
I think if they fleshed out each of the houses more, like
And
really
I'm
fleshed
hoping
it out,
they'll do that
they
for the
would
sequel.
they would have actually won. I think if they really fleshed it out, because that was the issue. I think it wasn't like just for that. If they just fleshed out those choices,
Mhm.
it would have actually been a really a bigger contender for against Baldur's Gate, because that's part of the reason Baldur's Gate won is because of the choices.
Oh yeah, I'm not disputing that, but it should have gotten a nomination.
Oh,
for Game
yeah.
of the Year. It should have gotten a nomination for art direction.
Yeah.
A few categories it should have at least been nominated. It didn't get a single nomination in any category.
Biggest
Strictly
snub.
political reasons,
Yeah.
which shouldn't be a factor
It is-
when you're just discussing what makes a great game.
You guys want to play this game again?
I do. It's been a while.
Oh, with Beans,
What?
Beans.
our old character Beans.
Oh.
I forgot all about that.
Okay.
We
If
made
you
some
saw that, say it.
horrific characters.
Yeah, we did.
We have made it. We are to 2024. This is the year that obviously we
Year of
just
disappointment.
watched this award show.
So we're
probably a
not
week
going to
ago.
add anything on to this one. Have a good night.
The winner, Astrobot. Runners up, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor, Refantasio.
I'm just going to say off the bat 2023, totally snubbed Hogwarts. 2024, we have DLC being nominated.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me.
I always
It just doesn't make sense.
yeah. Before I say anything else, I love Elden Ring. The DLC should not. No DLC should be on this list ever. Just like I don't think any remake should be on this list ever. And I mean that for Final Fantasy VII too. And it's a good game. I'm not saying it's not. It should be more unique games or continuations. I'm happy that Astrobot won. I didn't play it as much as some other people here might have played it. The game I played the most of was Balatro. I love Balatro, poker, roguelike. It's fun.
I haven't played it, but a lot of people loved it.
It's a great pick up and go game. Depending how fast or how you're playing, you can be doing a whole game in 15 minutes, or you can spend an hour doing some weird convoluted game.
It looks cool. Not really my kind of game usually, but it does look cool.
Yeah, I was happy with Astrobot one. From what I've played and what I've seen, it's a really good game. I really wanted to play Black Myth Wukong, but I haven't actually gotten around to it yet.
It's hard to play all the games that come out.
It is. It's expensive. It's really the issue.
I'm with you on Black Myth Wukong. But as we heard many nights, the Nights of the Game Award. Astrobot! This was a bad year for games. We can see that because of the DLC being nominated for Game of the Year. That's
And the card
insane.
game.
And a card game.
But Astrobot was so much fun. It's so cute, and the levels offer a very nice mix of beautiful and awe-inspiring to look at, and also a good sense of challenge to them. They've added stuff already. The speedrun levels are a blast.
Did you play the Christmas level yet?
I have not.
Just
I didn't
came
know there
out
was.
today. It's a lot of
I'm
fun.
going to have to play that.
Yeah.
All of the little characters that you collect, all these Sony little Astrobot characters are so freaking cool. And then you buy them things for them to, once you get them back to your home island, you like buy them things out of this claw grabber for them to play with, and it's so much fun. And I'm so glad that I got talked into buying it because I was like, it seems not up my alley. Like it seems kind of
Platformers.
Told you you'd like it.
It's fun.
Doesn't
It's a
have
really
Madden in the name.
doesn't have that.
But he tried it and loved it. But yeah, Astrobot hands down deserved this win. I really didn't think they were going to get it.
I didn't either.
I was pleasantly surprised that they did. But yeah, if you haven't played it, this is one of the best 3D platforming games of all time, period.
When they made the first Astrobot for when the PS5 launched,
Yeah.
I don't think that, like, it was good, but it was mostly just meant to show off the game. I don't think
it was a tech showcase done really well, and everybody that played it was like, man, they need to make a full game.
Like, this was a lot of fun.
They did, and it paid off. Love this game. You're not going to find a better modern 3D platformer outside of Mario. And it gives Mario a run for his money for the first time ever.
It does.
Opinion.
Which is good. I think Nintendo needs
Yeah,
actual
They do.
competition.
Competition helps. We need more of it in games.
Like in Madden.
You're right. Astrobot
Yes.
is cute. It's adorable. I wish I played it. I wish I had time to play Black Myth Wukong. This year's been weird for me. It's part of the reason we stopped recording for a while. But one game that I came back to all the time, and my own humble opinion, I'm sure no one else shares it. I really feel like Helldivers should have
Wasn't
gotten
that a
out.
last year game?
No,
No, that was this.
this
okay.
came out in March, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a game, like, I'm not huge on
Was it not
multiplayer games.
nominated?
It wasn't even nominated.
Yeah, it wasn't even
well,
nominated.
It was nominated for a few things.
But not in it.
It
That's
won a
that's
couple
snub.
things.
I don't think it should have won, but it should have been nominated over the DLC.
February,
It
actually.
can take the DLC spot.
Okay. I was like, I remember being early.
Beginning of February,
it's very
February 8th.
early.
Yeah,
I just
so
looked it up.
if you know me, I don't play a lot of multiplayer games. This is one where I've been playing since it came out, like a week after it came out, over and over again, constantly, almost once a night, here and there. I just like how dynamic it is. The enemy types. You can go from this war to another war, and it's a live action war going on in real time on this one server. There's one guy controlling, like a DM, what's going on the enemy side, and they just released a new enemy type. It's really, really cool. But yeah, this is one I've sunk, I think, the most time of any game.
When you got this, I said we'd give it about 2 weeks, and if you were still playing it, Nick and I would try it. It's been 10 months. Maybe we should try it.
maybe we should.
So I haven't-
Gavin has tried it.
Yeah, what's really
Oh.
cool about it is it shows you like the whole galactic war because you're fighting for Super Earth,
For democracy.
for democracy. It's hilarious.
Would you like to know more?
It's like Starship Troopers and comedy.
Yeah.
Which
I like.
But like you get the map and it's like, oh, there's these different factions and it shows which portions controlled by Super Earth and what was not, and the devs are like in charge and like will send out like attacks and probes like that. But like you actually see when you're fighting, like taking on missions and like destroying nests and doing these things, it'll show like an actual meter that shows to everybody how much you're fighting to get that claimed for Super Earth. And I think that's really nice and dynamic. And then sometimes we'll get an alert and be like, this enemy's sending an attack on Super Earth's territory. You go there and it's them invading your planet, your territory. So it's a different. So even though it's like the same enemies and the same map, it's different because because they're coming in spaceships and dropping in from space, and you're just trying to keep them from invading you. It's a lot of fun.
It sounds good. It's really popular. I thought it was going to be another like Forspoken fiasco when it came out.
I'll give you that.
I need to
I'll
try
give you
it.
that.
I need to try.
One last thing though, like one of the coolest details about the whole game is like when you're launching and like orbiting a planet, you're seeing all the other ships around you. Those are all also other players who are in real time playing alongside you.
Well, that's
You
cool.
can see
that
their
map.
attacks coming down from their ships and stuff in real time. It's
That's
all
cool.
like it's really immersive and it kind of makes the majority of the community feel like a community instead of like everyone fighting each other, telling you that they slept with your mother. Like Call of Duty.
You still hear that, but it's against the AI. No. Yeah.
You four-legged bug, I slept with your mother.
Yeah, you'll hear stuff like that every once in a while, but
For
Excellent.
democracy.
The biggest snub this year, and nobody else at this table is going to agree with me because
No,
you guys are
'cause
all
I-
on Helldivers.
Yeah.
EA Sports College Football 25.
You know,
Should it be Game of the Year? Absolutely not. EA Sports should be nowhere near game of the year, but it is cool. We haven't had a college football game since 2014. So for the series to come back, I have a dynasty mode that I started the first day that the game came out, and I have played it weekly since then. I'm in year 17 of this dynasty build where you go through and you recruit kids to your college, and it is so much fun to have back. I understand why it wasn't nominated, but I had to throw it out there. I needed to get a sports game on.
Before we wrap this up, I will give you this. There's been 2 sports or football games in my life that I've gotten actually super into. NFL Blitz 2000. I'll send your mother back in a box was one of my favorite voice lines in that game. There was Looney Tunes sounds and shit like that as well, I think, in one version. And then NCAA college football, I think it had been 2007, 2009. It was an early one on the PS2. And I remember being able to build my own school. I named it Hogwarts because I was a nerd. Had all my friends as players. Our team was Gryffindor because Gryffindor rules. And whatever. But I was excited for you, and I was this close from picking up that game myself. And I don't play sports games.
I appreciate it. And yeah, it is really cool to have back, and I really enjoy it. That being said, I will try not to trash From Software. I will trash EA Sports. You guys are the fucking worst. I hate you. As somebody who only plays sports games mainly, the fact that you have monopolized the market. Good. Tell them to fuck off.
No, they want to sponsor us.
No, fuck them. I don't want to be sponsored by them. The fact that you have monopolized the sports gaming industry is complete and utter bullshit. You have ruined sports video games. I hate you so much. I will keep buying your products because it's the only option I have. Fuck off.
NFL, Madden, 2025.
That's
It's already in your pocket.
You have no competition.
Calling your school Hogwarts and being a nerd playing a football game makes me think of when my nerdy ass heard of a game called Blood Bowl and got really excited to find out that it sucks.
The trailer looked really good.
I was like, oh my god, I would love this. Football with orcs? Hell yeah. And then I'm like, oh, this is an RTS game.
Yeah, had it played more like NFL Blitz with
that's what I was hoping
dismemberment,
for. I
it
was
would've been
so...
fun.
I played one play and one play only. Dunk bomb.
All right.
That's why I
This
lost
game-
so often.
This episode, crazily enough, over an hour. We should probably get out of here.
Yeah.
For anybody that watched, thank you guys so much for watching. If we missed games from any year, please leave them down in the comment. Let us know who you think should have won Game of the Year every year. Please like, comment, subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Even if it's just to make fun of the 4 of us, we don't care. Just get it out to more
Just
people.
do it.
So, but thank you guys all for watching. We will be back next week. It is time to
Split!